So I did this last year, and I thought I had my life all together then. I was completely getting better and everything was good, but since then I've pretty much come to realize I have done a really bad job at acknowledging anything and feeling anything. And despite the fact that I cry a lot, I don't really deal with my past or anything that I'm feeling. When I was growing up, I'm like really emotional from her talk, so I'm shaking right now. But when I was growing up, my dad was really abusive towards my mom, and he would threaten to kill me and my brother, and I don't remember any day of my childhood where my mom wasn't crying. He let his relatives molest me, and he would stalk us once my family finally left him. But despite that, as a child, I was sure my life was completely normal, and I was so happy, and being with my brother was great, so it didn't really matter. Like, I didn't really have a real dad, but that was okay because everything was fine, and I was happy. Nothing really started catching up with me until I really started getting into relationships, and I would date guys who would just put me down and tell me I was too slutty for them or too fat for them, or no one would really want me except them, except they didn't really want me either, so I should just be happy that they stayed. And I thought I had pretty much dealt with all of that, and I thought I was fine not really having people who cared about me because I cared about me and that was enough. And I was thinking back on all my relationships, and really the only person who I could think who cared about me was a girl I dated when I was 15, but she didn't really care about herself. And last year she tried to kill herself and ended up in rehab for a meth addiction. Since the summit, she called me and told me she loved me, and then hung up and shot up. And she was high for 3 days and almost died from an overdose. And I thought I was fine. I felt bad for her, but I was dealing with it because I cried about it, so therefore I was fine. But I really wasn't dealing with anything. I was just crying, but not really acknowledging anything that was happening in my life. Last year I talked about one of my coworkers who sexually assaulted me. I was 18 and he was 30, and I continued working there for 5 months. And I thought I was fine, and I thought I had acknowledged everything, and I was going to therapy, so that meant I was dealing with everything. And since the summit, I've realized I have not dealt with anything. And everything has started to catch up with me. And I am probably the saddest I've ever been. So when I was asked to do this, I was really torn because I'm not better, and I'm probably... I said I wasn't gonna cry. This was like one of my agreements. I'm like, I'm not gonna cry in front of people. Yeah, it's probably the worst it's ever been. So I thought I really didn't have anything to tell anyone. Like, I can't tell you that you're gonna magically be better and that it at some point ends, you know. But even in this period of my life of things being really difficult, I have had some of the happiest moments of my life. And I've come to realize that, like, despite everything that's happened in my life, I wouldn't trade any of it. Which sounds really crazy. But I wouldn't. Like, I feel like I am a stronger person for everything that I've been through, and I'm really happy to be sitting here, even though, like, I feel really sick right now. People used to tell me that, like, I have to just decide to be happy and then I'll be happy, and I just have to decide that my life is better and then I'll be better, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Like, that is definitely part of it. You have to decide that you want to be happy, because for a really long time I didn't, because it's a lot easier to just stay where you are and just stay sad. But that's not the main thing. I think you don't have to decide to be happy, but you have to decide to keep moving. And if that's all that you can do, if it's just showing up to class or getting out of bed in the morning, that's the best that you can do. It's still something.